Hiro is this kid who lost his parents in the Balbogoa disaster. So, picture this. 10 years back, a crew of mages got together in Balbogoa to try and seal away this dragon, Zord. But they totally botched it. The whole place gets wrecked. Hundreds of people die, and the dragon just dips, vanishing into the shadows. Hiro's the only one who makes it out, thanks to a clutch spell from his dad that traps both Hiro and Zord inside the same wound. After that mess, Hiro's got one thing on his mind: revenge. Dude trains for years with this dude Jiru, think grizzled mentor vibes, learning how to swing a sword. Now Hiro's just roaming around, calling himself the Wandering Swordsman, hunting down any hint that'll get him closer to Zord. Fast forward 10 years, and Hiro rolls into this place called Linsakai's one night. The guards at the gate legit do not mess with him probably, cause he looks so intense. Soon after, a lady named Shisharu shows up and announces the arrival of this flashy nobleman, Nambuko. This guy makes a total entrance, rocking jewels everywhere, surrounded by gorgeous ladies, just tossing money into the crowd. Everyone's hyped. Hiro goes to snag one of the coins, but this crafty kid, Pashate, swoops in and grabs it first. His friend totally calls him out, whacking the coin away like, dude, have some pride. Pashate gets annoyed, ditches his squad, and sneaks into Nambuko's fancy carriage to swipe something valuable, all while Hiro's just chilling in the background, watching it all go down. Meanwhile, across town, some guy is flashing a dragon crest, and you can bet that gets Hiro's attention. All of a sudden, this kid Tomit snatches the crest and tries to bolt, but a giant bodyguard blocks her escape. Hiro walks up, just hands over a coin for the crest, and the man's like, cool, take it. Tomit gets off the hook, but as soon as she's clear, she pulls a fast one, steals the crest straight from Hiro, and disappears back to her hideout. Later on, Tomit's hanging with her friends, griping about how Hiro wrecked her whole plan to rob Nambuko. And then, out of nowhere, Hiro shows up, just strolls in, and snatches the dragon crest back. Easy as that. Tomit's totally stunned, like, how did this guy find us? As Hiro leaves, Tomit and her crew chase after him, but he stays way ahead. Meanwhile, Giru's in town too, carrying a picture of Hiro, searching for him. Over at the city palace, Nambuko's having dinner with the local boss. He busts out this thing called the Grand Trawa, a wish-granting gadget that legendary Lord Barrow supposedly used to fight the dragon Danganzat. Nambuko offers to make the leader's dreams come true, and the dude is clearly tempted. Nearby, Pashate sneaks in to grab the Grand Trawa, but gets busted. While all that drama's happening, Hiro leads Tomit and the gang on a wild chase across the rooftops. He's dodging everything, flipping around total acrobatic flex. One kid almost falls off a roof, but Hiro grabs him in midair, no sweat. Tomit's relieved her friend's okay, but she's ticked off when she finds out Pashate got arrested. She splits, determined to save him. Next day, Pashate gets dragged out into this arena, and the crowd's there waiting for his public execution. Tomit and her crew are helpless in the stands. She knows if she tries anything, it's basically game over for her too. Suddenly, Hiro walks right in and announces he's stopping the execution. As Shisharu is reading out the sentence, Hiro steps up, calling out the punishment as way too harsh. After Hiro introduces himself, Shisharu orders her soldiers to attack. Hiro just sidesteps all their sword swings, no problem, and does not even bother pulling out his own blade. Shisharu gets fed up and blasts him with magic, but Hiro just bats it away and keeps pushing back. Finally, he draws his sword, but it is so tiny it does not even scratch the soldiers. Shisharu cracks up, tells her men to finish it. Right then, Jiru bursts in, slicing through the guards to back up Hiro. Tables are turning. Shisharu, kind of freaking out, grabs the Grand Trawa and unleashes a massive attack aimed straight at Hiro, trying to finish him for good, but the blast bounces off, and both she and Nambuko are just stunned. Suddenly, boom, the ground explodes, and up comes the giant dragon, Danganzat, sporting the same weird markings as Hiro. Nambuko is just standing there losing it, like, he cannot believe the legendary dragon is actually alive. Kunan is this massive continent with 3 super strong countries, Saint Amoria, Ishelfine, and Van Lotus. They're all pretty much equally matched, so if something goes down in one, it could set off a war across the whole continent. Way back, there was this terrifying dragon named Danganzat, and everyone was scared of him. Dude would just show up out of nowhere, burn everything to the ground, and steal people's souls. Now, in the present, Hiro tries to take Danganzat on, but gets completely wrecked like, the dragon slams him flat into the dirt. Giru runs over to check on Hiro and finds him totally knocked out. Meanwhile, Nambuko is grinning, watching the dragon wreak havoc, probably thinking he can use all this chaos to his advantage. The soldiers start firing a ton of arrows at the dragon, but none of them work, they all just bounce off. But then, some arrows go flying toward Hiro, and weirdly, the dragon actually protects him. He blocks the arrows, and Shisharu is totally stunned. After that, Danganzat smashes some buildings and then just melts back into the ground like a shadow. Once Danganzat's gone, the city's leader calls out Nambuko, demanding to know why he brought the dragon here in the first place. Nambuko acts all smug, saying it's a way to make people scared enough to beg the leader for protection. Later on, Hiro is knocked out in Tomit's hideout, and Jiru starts telling everyone about Hiro's past. Turns out, Hiro's parents tried to seal away Danganzat about 10 years ago. Back then, Kismetit was used as bait to lure in the dragon, while everyone else set up the weapons that were supposed to trap him. Even with 100 mages backing them up, Barrow's plan totally bombed, and everybody got caught in Danganzat's soul-eating flames. Cut back to present-day Tomit and crew, figure out Hiro's parents died because of those Hiro's flames. Hiro wakes up yelling Dagonzat's name, super confused, but chills out once he realizes he's safe in Tomit's lair, and he's dead set on finding the dragon and getting revenge for his parents. But Giru stops him. He's in no shape to fight yet. Flashback time. When Hiro was just a kid, Giru taught him how to use a sword. Hiro was super serious about training. Losing his parents gave him all the motivation. He's always been gunning for revenge against Dagonzat. Right now, Hiro introduces Giru as his sword-fighting master. Peshate brings up the Grand Troa, and Hiro says it belonged to his dad. He's convinced that if he gets his hands on that artifact, he'll be able to take down the dragon for good. Meanwhile, Tomit starts talking about Nambuko. He's a dirty arms dealer who's always trying to stir up fights so he can cash in by selling weapons. After Tomit's rant, Hiro suggests they track down Nambuko, snag the Grand Troa, and go after the dragon. So, Hiro, Giru, and Palupa head out to the city streets to make it happen. Palupa used to serve Lord Barrow, and now he tags along with Hiro and Giru on their journey. He keeps a tight grip on their wallet and always gives Hiro a hard time when he burns through too much cash. Later, Shisharu hears that Nambuko left the city and headed to the land where wishes die. She's clearly pissed that he ditched her, but she uses magic to spy on him through water. She's all smiles seeing his face turns out. She's got a thing for Nambuko. Right before the spell fades, Nambuko tells her to find Hiro, the same kid Dagonzat saved earlier. Meanwhile, Hiro and the gang are wandering around, trying to find a cheap place to eat. After a while, this girl named Erin offers to help them out. Next thing you know, Hiro, Giru, and Palupa are chowing down in a restaurant thanks to Erin. While they're eating, Erin figures out that Hiro's the one who caused all that chaos at the execution arena. She starts asking him about Dagonzat and wonders if this all ties into Hiro being Lord Barrow's son. Hiro and Giru both look totally shocked. Hiro gets curious and asks how Erin knows his dad, but she dodges the question and bounces out of the restaurant. When it's time to pay, Palupa is fuming because Erin skipped out on her bill. He's so mad he suggests Hiro should sleep outside as payback for covering Erin's food. That gets Hiro's brain working, and he comes up with a plan to fix their housing problem. Later, Hiro and the gang show up at Tomit's hideout, asking to crash there for a bit. Since Hiro once saved Peshate's life, Tomit agrees to let them all stay for the night. The next morning, everyone wakes up to Giru busting out a killer breakfast, with everyone full and happy. Hiro tells them his plan to get the Grand Troa. Giru doesn't think Hiro's ready to fight yet, so he says they need to train first. Hiro also promises that Giru will cook every day to sweeten the deal, so Tomit lets them stick around. Later that day, Giru brings Hiro to this special training spot. For his first test, Hiro has to take on a bunch of slimes, but he's struggling. He complains that his sword's too big, but Giru just tells him it's perfect for the job. After a while, Giru leaves to go hunt, leaving Hiro practicing with the slimes. Then, out of nowhere, a sand dragon shows up, totally freaking out Palupa. Hiro thinks it's a threat and goes in for the attack, but the dragon doesn't even fight back. Instead, it opens its mouth and surprise, a cute girl named Sariato comes out. She steps out of the dragon, says goodbye to it, and walks right up to Hiro. Before he can even process what's happening, she hugs him and begs him to come with her. Hiro's just standing there, completely stunned, having no clue what's going on. Palupa thinks Sariato is straight up bad news because, get this, she literally showed up coming out of a sand dragon and she's got a magic wand. Total red flag, right? But meanwhile, Hiro? Yeah, he's down bad for her, like, full-on hard eyes emoji. He just ignores Palupa's warnings because Sariato's got him totally distracted. Sarato, for her part, is also kinda interested in Hiro, so she introduces herself and asks his name, and when she hears it, she checks out his eyes and tells him they look just like a dragon's. Pretty intense. So right about then, Giru comes back from hunting and sees Hiro chatting it up with Sariato. Dude totally freaks out. Hiro tries to explain himself, but Palupa just makes the whole thing sound crazier by blurting out that Sarato came out of a dragon's mouth. Now Giru's ready to draw his sword, but Hiro manages to calm him down before things get messy. In the end, Palupa's like, let's just ignore Sariato, and the squad sneaks away, leaving Sariato behind. Later on, Tomit starts teasing Hiro, basically saying, oh, you're thinking about that girl Sariato, huh? Hiro insists he's all business, just wants to kill the dragon, but honestly, he's a little distracted. He keeps thinking about how sad and alone Sariato looked when they ditched her. Tomit's just like, look, don't bother with Sarato, she'll make new friends eventually. He talks about his own crew, how even though they're not family, they've survived together for years, and Hiro should get it. Meanwhile, somewhere else, Sharu is out here showing people a picture of Hiro, trying to track him down. After grilling a bunch of villagers and getting nowhere, she gets frustrated and tries some magic. She whips out a magic mirror to find Hiro, but nope, that doesn't work either. Just then, Sariato walks past her, headed off to look for Hiro. Erin's just watching everything from a distance. That evening, Nambuko starts stirring up trouble by spreading a rumor that Dagonzat is making a comeback, just to freak out all the countries. He tells one of his minions to pump up magic stone production and keeps an eye on the price of weapons and armor. After that, he checks in with Dr. Bafalapa, this kinda crazy magic scientist dude who's working for him. He tells the doc that war's coming, so better get to work making more weapons. They're gonna cash in big time. Later, after their chat, the doctor's just going about his business, quietly wondering if Sariato's okay. Back in the city, Sariato finally finds Hiro at Tomit's hideout, which completely shocks Palupa. Tomit's confused about how she even found Hiro, but figures she must be into him. Since Sariato's hanging with Hiro now, Tomit Tomit cracks a joke that Hiro might be too busy for that whole defeat Danganzat thing that makes Hiro super uncomfortable, so he bails with Sarato. Next day, Jiru goes to cash in the monster he hunted, but it barely gets him anything, so he decides to head out hunting again. But before he leaves, he finds out Hiro's out training with Sarato. And let me tell you, Hiro is struggling, he's just not feeling training, and fighting slimes is super annoying. He's only out there cause Giru told him he has to be. Hiro just wants to finish off Danganzat and be done with it. But then, Sarato spots something weird and calls Hiro over. Hiro turns, and there's a wild beast about to attack them. Wanting to protect Sarato, he tries to act tough and calls the beast out, but ends up getting knocked to the ground. When he wakes up, all the beasts are already dead. Sarato is just standing there, super still. Her face is kinda off, like her eyes changed or something, but they go back to normal when Hiro gets close. Hiro's worried and asks if she's okay, and she says she's fine. She sees the gash on his shoulder and heals him with magic, which surprises him. Hiro thanks her, then heads into town to sell the dead monster. But again, the cash is pretty pathetic, and he leaves the vendor looking salty. As Hiro and Sarato walk back through the city, Hiro spots some guards being rough with civilians, forcing them to work in the magic stone mines. Not cool. Hiro steps in, but the guards just beat him down and drag him off, leaving Sarato alone. Tomit shows up at the scene and tries to figure out what happened, while Erin's still lurking and watching from the sidelines. Once the sun sets, Hiro wakes up in prison, and he's pissed the guards took his sword and his money. Meanwhile, Shisharu gets word that Hiro's locked up at the Lord's palace, the same lord who Nambuko met with earlier. Tomit and Sarato are already plotting a way to bust Hiro out, while Hiro himself is thinking about tunneling out through a wall. At the same time, the city leader checks his mini vault and totally freaks when he notices his finance journal is gone. Then he turns around, bam, Sarato and Tomit are right there in his office. Turns out that missing notebook is basically a ledger of all his illegal spending, and Tomit's holding all the cards. He offers to trade the book for Hiro's release. The lord tries to refuse, but once Giru joins the negotiation, he gives in. So Hiro finally gets released, and he's honestly so hyped that Sarato came to save him. The way he looks at her, Tomit can't help but tease him about catching feelings. That night, Shisharu shows up at the palace and finds out she missed Hiro again, which just pisses her off more. Meanwhile, Hiro messes around with Tomit and invites him to come eat with everyone. This time it's a full house. Everybody's stoked for some food. For whatever reason, Erin's still lurking in the shadows, just watching the crew from some corner. The following day, Sharu hits up the hot springs in the city, and honestly, she is living her best life. Meanwhile, over at breakfast, Hiru is totally losing it over the weird food Giru whipped up. Palupa tries to calm him down, saying, "Hey man, just eat, it's all we can afford." But Tomit and his squad, they just chow down like it is no big deal. Anyway, while everyone is eating, Jiru reminds Hiru about their training session after breakfast. He tells Hiru that Sarato should not come along, but Hiru definitely does not agree with that rule. When it is time to train, Hiru is off with Giru, but of course, Sarato tags along anyway. On the walk, Hiru tells her, "You can't come," and tries to bribe her with a coin so she can go get something she likes instead. As Hiru heads out, Sarato just kind of wanders around the city until Eren spots her and offers to take her somewhere cool. Sarato says yes, all smiles. Cut to the training spot. As soon as they get there, Hiru tells Giru to go hunt instead, like, "I got this, I'll train solo." But Giru is not having it and just stays to watch, which totally annoys Hiru. Meanwhile, Sarato and Eren end up at the healing springs, this legendary hot spring that is supposed to heal pretty much any wound. Eren tells Sarato she should try it out, but since it is her first hot spring, she almost jumps in with her clothes on. Eren has to quickly remind her to undress, and then Eren spots Shisharu already soaking inside, looking super annoyed. Somewhere else, Palupa is checking out this poster about a monster showing up at the healing springs. Capture it, and you get the sweet reward of 300 gold coins. So now Palupa is dead set on having Giru catch this monster. Later in the day, Hiru and Giru start arguing about how they should train. Giru tries to tell Hiru, "Listen, you are not strong enough to beat Danganzat yet." Ouch. Talk about a blow to the ego. Hiru is not happy. Back at the hot spring, Eren is chatting with Sarato. After a bit, Shisharu moves over to join them. Eren sort of panics and tries to hide Sarato underwater. Total fail, by the way, which makes it super obvious she does not want Shisharu seeing her. Sarato tries to say Hiru's name, but Eren just covers her mouth fast. Meanwhile, Hiru tries to attack Giru to prove he's strong enough, but whiffs it at first. Second try, Giru catches on that Hiru is not holding back, so he just lays him out. Like, Hiru ends up in really rough shape. Just then, Palupa shows up with Tomit, and they are both like, "Dude, what the heck? Why did Giru just go full beast mode on Hiru?" Seeing how messed up Hiru is, Giru says they need to take him to the healing springs as soon as possible. He hauls Hiru there, but while they are on the way, enemy soldiers are spying and setting up a trap for Giru's crew. At the springs, Giru drops Hiru into the water and, wow, it actually works. Dude's wounds start healing. Giru being there definitely gets Shisharu's attention, and she sneaks a glance over at him. At the same time, Eren starts grilling Shisharu about her type. Shisharu just says, "I am totally in love with Nambuko." She also says she's helping Nambuko look for somebody, but she has no idea where he is. Plot twist, the guy she's searching for is Hiru. When she finally drops Hiru's name, Sarato says she knows him, but Eren quickly dunks Sarato underwater to keep Shisharu from noticing. Meanwhile, those soldiers are just waiting around for Sharisharu's signal, and as soon as Hiru wakes up, Sharisharu gives the sign. Huge sea monster gets unleashed into the hot spring. While this chaos is going down, Jiru apologizes to Piru for what happened between them, and after talking it out, they end up on good terms. Suddenly, the giant monster pops out of the water and goes absolutely berserk, attacking everyone. The soldiers are trying to control it, but nope, it is officially out of control. Eren bolts from the scene, while Jiru sees his shot and chases after the monster because Serato is in serious danger. Jiru pulls off a clutch move, slays the monster, and saves Serato. She is barely conscious. Hiru scoops her up, and when she opens her eyes, she gives Hiru the sweetest smile, which makes Tomite start teasing Hiru about how he is holding her. When sunset rolls around, the crew finds out they are not getting any of that monster reward money. The whole poster was a scam. Still, at least they can sell the monster parts for cash. A bit later, Tomite is just sitting at his lair, super sad that Hiru and the team are about to leave town. Next morning, everyone is packing up to go. Tomite and his boys show up to say goodbye. Shock twist. Tomite actually wants to join Hiru's group. His friends are not loving it. They are gonna miss him, but Tomite promises he will come back after his adventures. He has got his eyes set on getting the Grand Trawa and, honestly, changing the world. Not long after, on the road, the group bumps into Eren. She finally admits that it was Sharisharu who sicked that monster on Hiru earlier. Eren wants to join the squad and, to win them over, she pulls out a map to Nambuko's hideout. It works. She gets to join, and the team heads straight for Nambuko, now with the quickest route locked in. However, Palupa starts getting nosy and wonders why Eren even joined their crew in the first place. He tries grilling her about it, but Eren just dodges his questions and gives him nothing that makes sense. While that's going on, one of Nambuko's goons uses a scout bird to spy on Hiro and the gang. He reports back to Nambuko with an update. Once Nambuko knows where Hiro is, he tells Sharisharu to get ready, then goes to check out the magic stone prices. And, surprise, the prices are going up, which totally works in his favor, so of course, he's all smug about it. Anyway, back to Hiro and crew. They're traveling along and end up at this gorgeous spot with a waterfall, a rainbow stretched between two cliffs, and a pretty garden that grabs Garu's attention. While they're soaking it all in, Eren gets these weird vibes about the place and turns around just in time to spot the scout bird aiming right at them. Hiro jumps in to attack it, but totally gets wrecked and knocked to the ground. Meanwhile, Jiru takes a swing at the bird and chases it off. He checks in on Hiro, whose pride is basically in shambles right now. He's super salty about being shown up by a bird he thought he could totally handle. Jiru suggests they camp out in the woods instead, since it'll be harder for the scout bird to find them there. Later that night, Jiru is roasting some meat over the campfire and realizes Serato still hasn't come back. He had sent her to fetch some water and she's nowhere to be found. Hiro offers to go look for her, and Tomite can't resist poking fun at him, as usual. Hiro heads into the woods searching for Serato, but then gets sidetracked when he hears music playing. Turns out, it's Eren playing an instrument. Hiro takes the chance to ask again what Eren's deal is and why she's really tagging along. Eren says she wants to get the Grand Trawa, but Hiro totally does not trust her and calls her out for lying. He asks what she plans to do with the Grand Trawa, and she just jokes about making a hot bath like Hiro did before. Eren's sarcasm is too much, so Hiro gives up and goes back to searching for Serato. He finally finds her sitting alone by the water. The next day, Nambuko is busy showing off his brand new weapons to some clients. They're super hype about it and throw money his way. Then, Nambuko wheels and deals with his clients' enemies, selling the exact same weapons to them too. Right after, he hears Sharisharu has arrived and turns to see her. Nambuko immediately trashes her for failing to capture Hiro before, but then hands her away to track Hiro and his crew. He warns her mess up again and she's done seeing him. And that afternoon, Sharisharu whips out a magic mirror to spy on Hiro through the scout bird. Once she knows where Hiro is, she teleports herself and some goons straight there. Hiro is totally caught off guard when Sharisharu shows up. Then she opens a portal and these three huge stone monsters step out to attack. She orders both the monsters and her soldiers to go ham on Hiro's group. Jiru jumps in, goes into defense mode, and tells everyone to stick close. Hiro naturally does his own thing. He charges Sharisharu, thinking he can take her easy, but she zaps him with magic and knocks him flat. Garu goes beast mode against the soldiers and takes out a few, but then Hiro's weapon breaks when he blocks an ice attack from Sharisharu. With Hiro's life hanging by a thread, Garu just loses it and smashes one of the stone monsters with a single hit. Meanwhile, Palupa summons this slick businesswoman named Mumu to help him, Serato, and Tomite escape to safety. Not wasting any time, Mumu teleports them away, leaving Giru and Hiro to deal with the heat. A few minutes later, Sharisharu's about to wreck Hiro, but Giru jumps in to save him and ends up getting trapped in a force field that weakens him bad. With Hiro outnumbered, Sharisharu trash talks and threatens to finish off Giru. She keeps messing up Hiro until he just snaps. Dude goes full-on dragon mode. Sharisharu is seriously freaked out and throws her soldiers at Hiro, but he takes them out one by one. Before he can get to Sharisharu though, she bails through a quick portal. After spending all his energy, Hiro passes out, and while he's out cold, he's lost in thought about what happened. Later that day, he wakes up and sees a traveling group coming his way. When Hiro looks closer, he realizes it's Nambuko leading his crew through the desert. Hiro quickly hides behind a rock so he does not get spotted. Once Nambuko's gone, Hiro starts wondering where he even is and what just went down. Meanwhile, Mumu opens a portal portal and drops Paloopa, Seriato, and Tomite back. Paloopa gets ticked off at Mumu, asking for payment. Dude really hates dealing with business people. Moving on, Seriato and the others spot Giru out cold at the edge of a cliff. Seriato uses magic to help him for a second, and when he wakes up, he's clearly hurting but still gets up and starts looking for Hiro. When they peek over the cliff, they find a pile of dead soldiers, and everyone is just like, what even happened here? Somewhere else. Nambuko meets up with a client to show off his latest weapon. At the bottom of the cliff, there's an orc chained up, and up top, Dr. Bafalapa is putting the finishes touches on this insane machine. Nambuko gives the go-ahead, and the doc fires it up. This freaky machine fuses the orc and a bunch of humans into a single creature. It looks super creepy at first, but once the monster is killed, Nambuko's client ends up impressed and compliments his work. Hiro's been watching all this from a distance, and he just loses it. Can't stand Nambuko's total disregard for life. Hiro reveals himself and charges Nambuko, even though he is unarmed, hoping to finally take the guy out, but he cannot land a single hit, and Nambuyuko just puts a sword to his throat, decides to let him live for now, and tells his guards to restrain him. Apparently, Nambuyuko's not done with him yet. Meanwhile, Kiru and the others get to the spot where Hiro battled before blacking out. The absolute carnage makes Giru wonder how Hiro pulled it off without even a weapon, not knowing Hiro had gone full dragon mode. And when Eren shows up all of a sudden, Paloopa asks where the heck she was during the chaos. Eren shrugs it off, saying she was waiting for the right moment to bail. That evening, Nambuko brings in some good-looking guys to entertain his lady client, hoping to charm her into backing his evil project. At the same time, Sharisharu meets Nambuko to update him about Hiro. Oddly, Nambuko just gives her some coins as a reward, even though she failed, and Sharisharu's weirdly happy about it. She thinks he's pleased. Once she leaves though, Nambuko quietly says her life is in his hands. Somewhere else, Giru and the crew arrive where the hybrid monster bit the dust and try to figure out what happened. Turns out, Nambuko had the monster killed. Meanwhile, Hiro is tied up in a chair, struggling to get free, when Nambuko walks in with a set of creepy tools, fully planning to torture him. Nambuko picks up a short blade and presses it close to Hiro's skin, grilling him about his connection to Dagon Zot. Hiro fires back with his own question, wanting to know why Nambuko cares about reviving Dagon Zot. Nambuko admits he wants the chaos that comes with the dragon, because, in his world, chaos means weapons, and weapons mean money. After this twisted little chat, Nambuko presses the blade close, making Hiro scream. Coincidentally, Nambuko's client starts whining that the boys did not treat her right, so Nambuko bounces and leaves Hiro alone to go deal with her. The second Nambuko's out of there, Hiro pulls a slick move and manages to wriggle his leg free from the ropes. Then, he grabs the dragon crest from his shoe and cuts himself loose, breaking the ropes on his arms too. Meanwhile, the doc gets this weird feeling like he senses Serato nearby, so he whips out this gadget to track her down. As he follows her vibe or whatever, he runs into Hiro and gets super suspicious, since Hiro just happens to have the same aura as Serato. The doc starts grilling Hiro, wanting to make sure Serato's alright. Hiro reassures him that she is okay, but admits they got separated. Later that night, Sharisharu is living it up with her soldiers, celebrating because Nambuko's apparently happy with her. She looks young and pretty, but get this, she's 362. Meanwhile, Hiro is giving the doc the lowdown on how he met Serato, mentioning that she was into his heartbeat. That makes the doc super curious, so he checks Hiro's heart with a device, but then freaks out when he realizes Hiro's heart is not even his own. Yeah, Hiro is just as shook as the rest of us did not see that coming. But even after all that, the doc tells Hiro that protecting Serato is his destiny and hands him a way out of camp so he can go back to her. Bam! Hiro teleports right there in a matter of seconds, literally dropping out of the sky and leaving Jiru and the crew looking totally stunned. Hiro says he'll fill them in later, but for now, no time to explain. Hours later, Nambuko heads back to where he left Hiro, but the chair is empty. Instead, he finds the doc tied up in Hiro's place. Turns out, Dr. Bafalapa restrained himself because he helped Hiro escape, totally going against Nambuko's orders. Nambuko's mad, but does not kill him since he still needs the doc's brain for other stuff. Before walking out, Nambuko warns the doc he's not off the hook and will pay for what he did, sooner or later. Next day, Hiro and crew show up at this abandoned magic stone quarry. Eren explains that the place is cleared out because everyone tried to push production way too hard and ended up with no stones left. Jiru seems more interested in Hiro's weird story about Dr. Bafalapa. The doc said Hiro's heart is not his, which freaks Giru out enough to come up with this wild theory. Maybe Dagon Zot protected Hiro in the past because Hiro has the heart of a dragon. Everyone's jaws drop. Jiru keeps going, guessing that Hiro's heart was swapped at some point. This even lines up with Zot protecting Hiro against Sharisharu a little while ago. To back it up, Giru brings up Hiro's mysterious childhood injury and figures Lord Barrow must have switched Hiro's heart with Dagon Zot's to save Hiro's life. That would also explain why Hiro could use Zot's powers when things got dicey with Sharisharu yesterday. Now, in the present, Hiro is seriously pissed that he is walking around with the heart of the guy he hates most. Later, Sharisharu tames some new pet from Nambuko, and after a while, the pet releases some creeper scout things to track down Hiro's squad. Meanwhile, Hiro is sitting alone, deep in his head, totally ignoring Paloopa, who tries to talk to him. The bombshell from Giru is a lot to take in, but Paloopa is not giving up. He starts chatting about when Hiro was a kid all hyper, always running around, loving games. Hiro says he does not remember any of that, but Paloopa keeps going, talking about when Hiro lost his parents and how he used to cry during training with Giru. Turns out, Giru was into magic research even back then, training Hiro in the day and studying magic at night, not really his thing as a swordsman. Paloopa says Giru was doing it all to find out the truth for Hiro's sake. That totally messes with Hiro's head for a sec, but Paloopa's pep talk fires Hiro up, though Paloopa gets thrown when Hiro's main idea is to swap hearts with Dagenzat to fix everything. Soon after, the crew gets moving again, but big surprise, Eren is gone. While walking, Serato talks to Hiro and grins, happy to see he has his mojo back. On another note, Tomit gets curious about Hiro's dragon form and asks if he can just use it anytime. Hiro says he has no clue, and that the dragon thing is not just for show. Far away, Shisharu is spying on everyone through some magic mirror. She spots Hiro and gears up to teleport over to his spot. After sunset, Hiro and squad roll up to this abandoned village. Tomit notices something weird. A busted up well with water still inside is sitting in front of a house. She heads inside to scope it out, while Giru checks out some nasty claw marks on the walls. Then, Giru sees something that flashes back to his childhood. His parents captured in a village, his father begging the orcs to spare his mom. The orcs blame his mom for human attacks and are set to execute both parents by hanging. Little Giru is there, crying his eyes out while his dad tells him, a hero never leaves a good deed undone. Days later, Lord Beiro finds Girun after his parents' execution and brings him to the palace. Baby Hiro smiles at him when he arrives. Now, in the present, Hiro notices Giru is zoned out and tries to snap him back. Giru brushes it off, saying he is fine. Suddenly, Tomit comes running out of a building, screaming her lungs out with a crazy monster chasing her, the same type Nambuko made by mashing humans and orcs together. Giru jumps in to fight the thing, but he is still recovering and fails. Hiro steps up but cannot trigger his dragon form. Just as things get dicey, Giru saves Hiro from getting wrecked by the monster. Hours later, Eren gets to Nambuko's base and meets him. She spills the beans that Hiro has Dagenzat's heart, and Nambuko is super suspicious about why she is telling him this. She just shrugs, saying she is just selling info like always. Eren gets paid with an artifact and bounces. As soon as Eren leaves, Shisharu drops by, and Nambuko gives her the order, go kill Hiro. She is totally down with it. Moments later, Eren rocks up to a new place with Mumu's help. Before leaving Nambuko's place, she used her new artifact to eavesdrop on his orders for Shisharu. Now that she knows Hiro has a huge target on his back, she is not sure what her next move should be. Meanwhile, Hiro and the gang make it to Rukaonao, a busy crossroads town that is a major spot for supplies. Since Hiro's sword got trashed recently, he decides he wants a new one before leaving, but Giru suggests they sell a beast first. Later, Paloopa gets a crash pad lined up for everyone, while Hiro, Giru, and Sarato go sword shopping. Giru shoots down Hiro's first 3 picks, because the blades are not the right fit for him, wrong size and weight. Finally, Hiro finds one he really likes, and Giru approves. It is pretty close to his old sword, but with some small tweaks. Meanwhile, Tomit and Paloopa test out the beds at the inn, and Tomit is all smiles thinking about the solid sleep he is going to get tonight. Elsewhere, Hiro and Serato are just wandering around town, checking things out. Along the way, they bump into this jewelry vendor, you know, the type with a bunch of shiny stuff. Serato totally gets drawn in by one of the pieces, but when Hiro asks about the price, turns out it is crazy expensive, so he just nopes out of that real quick. Right then, Giru rolls up with a bunch of supplies he got after selling the beast he took down before. Meanwhile, Eren swings by a weapon shop, eyeing some arrows with seriously next-level magic on their tails. She picks up 5 of them, even with no discount, since these arrows can apparently take down monsters in one hit. That evening, Hiro, Giru, Paloopa, and Sarato are grabbing dinner together, just chilling at a table. Then Giru drops the name Master Theo, that person the doctor mentioned. Of course, Hiro's all curious and starts asking about Master Theo. Giru explains that he is Lord Byro's doctor, which totally shocks Hiro, but then Sarato hits them with, oh, Master Theo? He's my friend. Everyone's kind of shook for a second. Tomit suggests they should all just go meet Master Theo and sort things out, and everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. When dinner's over, Sarato calls it a night and heads up to her room, waving goodnight to Hiro. But Sarato doesn't end up sleeping. Instead, she is just sitting there in her chair, grinning at the coin Hiro once gave her. Meanwhile, Hiro and Giru are having trouble sleeping, but for Hiro, it is because he's got that whole dragon heart thing going on. Somewhere outside, a creepy shadow, looking a lot like Dagenzat, sneaks up and eats a sleeping dog, yikes. Then, the shadow goes on a rampage, blowing up some buildings in town. The explosions totally get Giru and Hiro's attention, so Hiro just bolts off to see what is up. Soon enough, Hiro and Giru spot that shadowy monster, and both assume it is Dagenzat. The creature starts scooping up people who are trying to escape, and anyone caught in the shadow is just sucked up and eaten. Hiro is not having any of that, so he tries to do something, but Sarato kinda senses that the shadow is not actually Dagenzat, so she leaves Tomit behind and runs off to warn Hiro since he has no clue. Right then, Giru gets partly trapped inside the shadow. His legs start sinking into the ground, and just when things look grim, Shisharu steps out, weapon aimed right at Hiro's face. Apparently, she's the one controlling the shadow, thanks to Nambuko, who got it from Dr. Bafalapa. Meanwhile, Dr. Bafalapa is creeping on everything from his magic mirror, looking all proud when he spots Serato alive. Nambuko is there too, telling him to stop slacking and get back to work. Back in the fight, Shisharu goes for the kill, trying to stab Hiro on orders. He fights back as hard as he can, but eventually he runs out of steam and gets stabbed. That triggers his dragon side, so boom, he transforms right there. Giru and the others totally freak out, cause this is the first time they have ever seen Hiro like this. But Hiro loses it, totally not in control, and just roars like crazy. Right as Giru is about to get pulled underground, Eren shows up, uses one of those magic arrows, and saves him. Giru books it over to Hiro, but Hiro is all dragon mode, and ends up slashing Giru across the chest, ouch. Meanwhile, Dagonzot actually ends up getting summoned underground by accident, thanks to Hiro. After a few seconds, Hiro snaps back to normal, only to realize Giru's really hurt, and it is all his fault. Next morning, Giru is knocked out cold in bed, still hurting from what happened. Hiro is beating himself up for losing control. Eventually, Giru wakes up and smells Paloopa's cooking. But the thing is, Paloopa is not confident about his food. He thinks Giru is way better at it. Hiro tries to apologize to Giru for last night's attack, and asks Sariato if she can work her healing magic on Giru like she did before, but she says she is not able to this time. Hiro gets even more worried, not sure how they will help Giru recover. Later, Giru comments on Hiro's dragon form, warning him that if he keeps using it, he might just turn into a full-blown dragon. That freaks Hiro out, since the last thing he wants is to stop being himself. After their talk, Giru lies back in bed just wishing Master Theo could help with Hiro's problem. But as soon as Giru puts his head down, he passes out again and does not wake up, even when Paloopa tries calling him. So, Paloopa sends Mumu out to buy some medicine to save Giru, but once he hears the price, he bails on the deal way too expensive. After Mumu heads out, Eren pops up and tells everyone she knows where to find the active ingredient that can help Giru. Apparently, it is a plant you can only find in Kurarua Canyon, which is like 12 hours away. Hiro gets the info from Eren and sets off with Serato to find the plant. In another part of the world, we see Nambuko busy in his lair, keeping track of new weapon orders from different countries. Some of these countries are not buying much, so he orders his goons to spread a fake rumor about dragons to freak everyone out. Back with Shisharu, she's sulking because Nambuko will not see her after she messed up her last mission. Later, Eren is switching out Giru's towels. When she heads downstairs, she tells Paloopa and Tomit that Giru is still in a bad way even with all her care, he is just not improving. But Paloopa says all they can do now is wait for Hiro to return. During that convo, Tomit mentions he has never seen Sarato eat a meal before. This makes Paloopa kinda mad since he is already stressed about their budget, but Eren takes note of what Tomit said. Tomit also admits he's never seen Serato laugh, which surprises Eren too. Meanwhile, Serato and Hiro are on the road, continuing their journey to grab the plant needed for Giru's medicine. When they finally get to Kurarua Canyon, they start searching for the plant. Suddenly, a giant frog leaps out of nowhere and tries to attack them. The situation gets kinda hairy, but Hiro jumps in to protect Serato. They both take off, running to a safer spot. There, Serato spots the right plant and points it out to Hiro. He goes for it and tries to yank it off a huge rock. And back at the inn, Eren shares what she knows about Nambuko, including that he ordered Hiro's assassination. Paloopa and Tomit are stunned and ask how she knows this. Eren shows off an artifact she snatched from Nambuko before, which lets her eavesdrop on conversations and talk from a distance. Basically, Nambuko wanted Hiro dead to learn more about the connection between Hiro and Dagonzot. Over at the canyon, Hiro is struggling to pull the plant free. Suddenly, the ground shakes and plot twist. The rock turns out to be the shell of a giant glowing tortoise. Now Hiro's got even more trouble getting the plant, since the tortoise is on the move. At some point, Hiro totally slips off the huge tortoise. Yep, just slides right off. But then, boom, he scrambles right back up because Giru's life is literally on the line. This time, Hiro actually manages to yank out the plant, and he's hyped. But get this, his celebration doesn't last long because he instantly falls right off the tortoise again. Fortunately, Sariato is there to catch him before he hits the ground. That evening, as soon as they give Giru the medicine, he snaps back to life. Meanwhile, Tomit grabs Eren's gadget to hit up Pashate and the rest of his crew. Turns out, Linsakai's is not doing great, and Tomit looks straight up angry about it. Right after Giru wakes up, he actually thanks Hiro and Sarayato for saving his butt. But then Tomit comes in looking super down, and Eren asks him what's going on in Linsakai's. Tomit just tells her, yeah, things are really bad. The kids there are getting kicked out of their homes and forced to mine for magic stones. His own people are safe, but he's mad about how badly the poor are treated. That just makes him want to get the Grand Troa and save everyone even more. Tomit's feelings hit Serato so hard she actually tears up. Next day, crew's back on their journey to find Master Theo, and they finally make it to Garuko, this big mountain where Master Theo hangs out. They barely step onto the mountain when, bam, Master Theo shows up out of nowhere, leaving everyone completely shocked. Giru and Paloopa instantly drop to their knees to show respect, but Theo, he's more interested in the fact that they didn't bring any gifts. Then he spots Serato, grins, and gives her a huge hug, which totally ticks off Hiro. Now, Paloopa's all curious and straight up asks Master Theo how he became friends with Sarayato, but Theo just shrugs it off and says, she's my friend. Later, Giru tells Master Theo everything going on with Hiro, including Hiro's dragon form, and asks for advice. Because Theo's so powerful, Hiro says he wishes Theo had gone up against Dagonzot back when his parents fought the dragon. But Theo explains that a single mage can't beat Dagonzot, that dragon's just too OP for any human to take on. Then he says Hiro should train with him. Hiro's totally shocked, insisting he's a swordsman, not a mage. But Giru whispers maybe Theo wants to teach him about the dragon form, so Hiro reluctantly agrees to train. Soon, there they are, Hiro with his sword, facing Theo, while the rest of the crew watch the show. Theo makes Hiro do a bunch of weird stuff, like walk in a line and fold paper. None of it makes sense, and Hiro's just not into it. Meanwhile, Erin's using her gadget to listen for war updates from all over the continent, and she figures out there might be a big war coming, all because Nambuko's spreading fake news everywhere. Elsewhere, Jiru's wandering the woods near Harp's place when a beast jumps him. He takes it down quick and plans to eat it for dinner. Back at training, Hio asks Hiro to throw a stone, and notices something important in how Hiro does it, even though Hiro doesn't get why these dumb exercises matter, and he gets so mad he almost draws his sword at Theo. Paloopa tells him to chill. Theo realizes Hiro's on edge and switches it up sword training time. Now it's round 2. Hiro with his sword versus Master Theo, who's holding an invisible sword called the Koku Blade. Both Paloopa and Hiro are totally blown away. Theo tells Hiro to try it, but Hiro's not confident at all. He tries anyway, and while he fails to move the object, Theo notices he did make a tiny impact enough to surprise Theo and Sarato, though Hiro thinks the training's useless. But Theo actually compliments Hiro, and they keep going till the sun sets. Afterward, Hiro joins everyone for dinner. After eating, everyone goes to bed except Hiro, who keeps training with Theo outside the cave. Somewhere else, one of the Sharisharu gets the news that Nambuko wants to see her, so she gets all excited and hurries over. Meanwhile, Jiru talks with Theo about Hiro, and Theo says Hiro reminds him of his own dad. He believes Hiro's got what it takes to be a mage like Lord Barrow, his father. Giru admits he now sees Hiro has no real future as a swordsman. He realized it after pushing Hiro to the limit, the same time he took him to the healing springs. Right now, Jiru says he's studying magic to learn more about Hiro's dragon side. Surprisingly, Theo reveals Hiro's magic power is crazy strong. Apparently, during their training, Theo almost had to use defensive magic to block some of Hiro's invisible attacks. Before they wrap up their talk, Theo points out Hiro's dangerous, and he should never be apart from Serato. They're a pair. Later that night, Sharisharu rushes to meet Nambuko, all smiles, but Nambuko just wants to explain her next job. She's got no clue what it is, but she goes along with him to get the details. The next morning, Hiro's training with Theo again, but he bails after more weird drills. To finish up, Theo tells Hiro to attack him without moving. That's the only way to graduate. Hiro tries but can't land a hit, but Theo pretends to be hurt so Hiro can save some face in front of the others. And training done, Hiro says his goodbyes to Master Theo with Guru and the rest. A few minutes later, Theo's thinking back to Hiro's last attack, turns out. Hiro actually did land a hit, but it was blocked by Theo's next level barrier. Theo's worried that was just a taste of Hiro's real power. Later that morning, Hiro and the squad reach the edge of a desert and try to decide if it's safe to cross. The other way takes way longer to reach Nambuko's hideout. Hiro heads forward and suddenly gets dive-bombed by a bird, but Jiru jumps in and protects him. Now Tomit's furious because the enemy always seems to know where they are. As they're freaking out, she hears Nambuko's voice coming from Erin's device on the ground. That's enough for Paloopa to call out Erin, and everyone finally realizes Erin's been a traitor this whole time. Seconds later, Erin grabs her device, and Paloopa is right up in her face, pushing her to talk, so Erin finally spills. She's an information broker, but that just totally goes over Paloopa's head. Guru just wants to know if Erin ratted them out. Erin owns up. Yeah, she sold them out for cash. Guru is seriously pissed, but keeps it together and decides not to take Erin out. Since Erin's betrayal is out in the open, Hiro and the rest ditch her in the middle of the desert, even though she's the only one who knows the shortcut to Nambuko's hideout. Meanwhile, back at Nambuko's base, Sharisharu's getting ready to merge with her pet, just like people did with the orcs not too long ago. Right before she starts, one of the guards begs her not to do it, but she shuts him down. She tells the doctor to start the process, and the guard is just left totally freaked out. Back to Hiro and the squad. They're trekking through these blazing hot desert fields. Hiro is definitely not loving that heat, but they just keep moving. Somewhere else, one of the countries on the continent is gearing up for war. They think the other two countries have teamed up to wipe them out using Dagenzot. That night, Hiro, Paloopa, and the crew are chilling around a campfire to stay warm. Yeah, the desert is somehow freezing at night. Tomit's just like, how's it scorching in the day and ice cold at night? Classic desert. The next day, another country on the continent is getting ready for battle too, all paranoid that the other two have joined forces to drop Dagenzot on them. Later that morning, Hiro is dying for some water. Paloopa tries to come over to help, but then he falls into a sand pit. At the bottom, there's this crab-looking monster waiting for him. Hiro and the gang scramble to try to pull Paloopa out, but nothing's working. Right when things look bad, Erin shows up, jumps in, and saves Paloopa. She warns them, if they keep heading the way they're going, they're all toast. Meanwhile, the third country starts prepping for war too, cause their king just confirmed that all their enemies are teaming up. Back in the desert, a wild sandstorm blows in, and totally scatters the group. Paloopa gets up and realizes Erin is with him, which bugs him, especially after her whole betrayal. Somewhere else, Guru finds Tomit knocked out cold and has no clue where Hiro disappeared to. Hiro, on the other hand, is with Sariato, both searching for an oasis for water. At sunset, Paloopa's walking with Erin, totally spent, and just collapses from thirst. The next morning, he wakes up and drags himself onward with Erin tagging along. Hiro? He's cooked, he can't move without water, so Serato heads out solo to find some before he keels over. Giru catches up with Paloopa and Eren, carrying Tomit on his back, and they all set out together to search for water. Serato finds some, runs back, and wakes Hiro up by pouring water into his mouth. By noon, Hiro and Sariato set off to meet up with the rest of the crew. On their way, Sharu ambushes them, flexes her new mutated powers, easily beats Serato down, and then teleports away with Hiro to Nambuko's lair. A couple hours later, soldiers from all three countries are locking down key positions, totally set for all-out war. Looks like Nambuko's plan is falling right into place. He's got the whole continent on the verge of chaos. Hiro's stuck in a chair, looking weak, when Nambuko comes strutting in for a chat. Nambuko knows Hiro's got Dagonzat's heart, which makes him super valuable, and he's all about using that to bring disaster and take over. Obviously, Hiro's not about to go along with that, so he grabs his sword and challenges Nambuko. Problem is, Nambuko's way better at this. He beats Hiro in an instant and holds his sword to Hiro's neck. Nambuko starts monologuing about the night Lord Barrow tried to beat Dagonzat, revealing it was him who shot Lord Barrow in the back and stopped him from sealing Dagonzat away. This sets Hiro off. Turns out Nambuko is the reason Hiro's parents are dead. All Hiro wants now is payback. Nambuko only survived Dagonzat's flames because he protected himself with the Grand Troa. He actually loved the flames and wanted them for himself. But right now, Nambuko says he does not want to kill Hiro. He needs his heart to control Dagonzat. Meanwhile, Giru, Paloopa, and Tomit are searching for Hiro. Eren uses her device to track him down, picks up on his location, and tips off the team. When they get close, they spot Serato slamming a piece of metal. Paloopa thinks she's lost it, but Giru clues him in. She's actually summoning a dragon. Sure enough, a big red dragon swoops down. When the dragon shows up, it straight up swallows Sarajevo for a sec, and the crew is freaking out. But Sarajevo pops out just fine, and tells them the dragon agreed to give them a ride. Giru's ready to go full attack mode, but stands down after Serato says it is cool. So they all hop on and fly out with the dragon, holding on for dear life. Back at Nambuko's place, Dr. Bafalapa gets this huge magic reactor ready for whatever messed up plan Nambuko has. The thing's gonna use up so much power, it'll totally destroy the building, but Nambuko's fine with that if it means getting Dagonzat. Then the doc picks something up on the radar. It is Giru and the others, closing in. And bad news though, the red dragon gets shot down as they get near the building. Even so, Giru and the squad sneak into the walls, trying to find a way inside. While they are sneaking around, the doctor shows up looking for Sariato. When he finds her, he tries to teleport away, but Giru and the rest hop in just before he takes off. Inside, the doctor is super hyped because he gets to see Serato again. The way he acts, Paloopa and the others realize, wait, is this guy Serato's dad? Giru cannot buy it. He's like, no way this doc is related to someone as pretty as Sariato. Paloopa's curious about what exactly Sariato is, so he asks her. She tells them she was created by Nambuko's orders. The doctor backs her up, adding that Serato is a doll he made, which totally shocks everyone. Even so, Paloopa wants to know why Serato was made. The doctor says Nambuko was there when Lord Barrow tried to defeat Dagonzat, but Giru tries to call him out because he's supposed to be the only survivor from that fight besides Hiro. Doctor cuts him off. Nambuko survived by using a dragon blood crystal made from Dagonzat's own blood to shield against his soul, melting flames. The doc says he was ordered to make the ultimate soldier using these crystals. When he finished, Nambuko wanted Sarato destroyed for being too beautiful. The doctor defied that and let her escape. Somewhere in all this, Giru mentions Hiro has Dagonzat's heart. The doctor finally figures out why Sariato is drawn to Hiro. It's because she does not have a heart of her own. Still, the doc asks Sariato to ditch Hiro before Nambuko brings out Dagonzat. He warns her, during the hour of the ultimate dragon, when Dagonzat shows up, Nambuko will want to use her. Sarato is just like, nope, and rushes off to find Hiro anyway. After she leaves, the doctor totally freaks out and begs Giru, Paloopa, and the rest to look after Sarayato. Turns out, she's actually his daughter. Just a few minutes go by before Giru and the crew start wandering the building, hunting for Hiro. While snooping around, they stumble on this giant magical reactor and are like, yo, what even is that thing? Out of nowhere, Nambuko shows up and he's got Sharisharu holding a blade to Hiro's neck. And the plan? Nambuko wants to capture Serato and use her with Hiro to pull off whatever evil scheme he has in mind. With Hiro's life on the line, Sariato gives in and agrees to go with him. Once she joins up, Sharisharu magics them all away to Balbagoa, the exact same spot where Lord Byro bit the dust. Back at Balbagoa, the hour of the ultimate dragon is about to go down, and suddenly the whole sky goes red. According to Sharisharu, Nambuko's gonna use the leftover magic from his base to fuse soldiers from every country together. When Giru hears this, he freaks out, realizing that a way worse evil is about to hit the world, and before they can do anything, the whole building starts to close up, channeling its magic toward Balbagoa. Once everything locks down, a freaky message from Nambuko plays on a screen. He's telling everyone their souls are toast, about to be turned into magic. Everybody in the building is just frozen. No one saw that coming. On the flip side, Sharisharu is losing it because she realizes Nambuko totally ditched her. She tries to teleport away but can't, and she just screams out of sheer frustration. Over in Balbagoa, the doctor challenges Nambuko to try and save Sarato, but gets wrecked and is left barely hanging on. Then Nambuko puts Sarayato under a spell to make her do whatever he wants. He stabs stabs her in the chest just enough to trigger her battle mode. Now totally under his control, Serato turns on Hiro and attacks the second she gets the order. Meanwhile, back at Nambuko's place, the building's falling to pieces as all the magic gets drained out of it. In all the chaos, Giru thinks up a wild plan and has Palupa summon Mumu to help out. At first, Mumu's like, nope, not my problem. But then everyone pools their cash and Mumu's suddenly on board. Right after, Giru cuts a deal with Shisharu. She'll take them all to Balbagoa, as long as Giru promises to leave Nambuko for her to handle. She agrees. At the same time, Hiro, all beat up from Seriato's attacks, goes full dragon mode. As he's launching himself at her, Giru and the gang pop through a portal, shouting his name like it is some kind of epic entrance. Not long after Shisharu arrives in Balbagoa, she goes straight for Giru, and it totally seems like she's under Nambuko's control now too. Meanwhile, Hiro keeps attacking Serato, throwing everything he's got at her, but nothing works. And Serato, listening to Nambuko, is relentless, pounding Hiro with attacks. She finally deals such a heavy blow to Hiro that Dagonzot comes out. His heart is in real danger. Nambuko is absolutely psyched and hurries to fire up this massive machine. When it powers on, Nambuko uses the Grand Trawa to force Dagonzot to fuse with him. This flips the whole plan upside down, leaving Giru and everyone else totally shocked. The fusion eats up a ton of magical energy, but in the end, it actually works. Now merged with the dragon, Nambuko takes a hit from Hiro like it is nothing and just mercilessly beats him down. In the middle of all this pain, Hiro suddenly remembers what his parents once told him. You still have a task to do. Fired up, he snaps out of it mid-air and breaks free from Nambuko's grip, only to get grabbed and beat up again as soon as he lands. Meanwhile, Tomite snatches up the doctor and demands he does something about Nambuko. The doctor points out the Grand Troa, saying if it's shut down, Nambuko loses his magic. So, they both make a run for it to shut off the machine and stop those soul-consuming flames, racing against time since one wrong move could kill them. Finally, Eren and the squad manage to shut down the device and grab the Grand Troa, but plot twist, Nambuko's powers are still insane. He threatens to roast everyone with those soul-consuming flames, launches them, but boom, Serato jumps in and shields Hiro and crew from certain death. That really sets Nambuko off, and he rips the dragon blood crystal out of her chest. Since that crystal runs her whole body, Seriato drops to the ground, out cold. Seeing her like this drives Hiro into a total rage, and he slices Nambuko's arm clean off before stabbing him with all his might. As Nambuko collapses, he loses his monster form and Dagonzot comes crawling out. Hiro sees this and nearly goes full self-sacrifice, about to stab himself so Dagonzot dies, since they share the dragon's heart. At the very last second, Hiro changes his mind and asks for the Grand Troa. Once he's got it, he summons this giant glowing blade and lands a devastating blow to Dagonzot's chest, tearing open part of his heart. Taking his shot, Hiro grabs Dagonzot's heart and puts it inside Serato to bring her back. When she wakes up, Hiro just grins while Dagonzot fades away. With him gone, everything starts getting back to normal. Meanwhile, Palupa and the crew start fighting over who gets the Grand Troa, but it just falls and smashes on the ground. Giru then reveals he knew it was not really the Grand Troa, but actually Lord Byro's sealing device. Over on the side, Hiro tears up when he realizes Serato's alive. Dagonzot's defeat makes all the soldiers from the three nations turn around and head home. No one's in the mood to fight anymore. Only a minute later, Mumu reappears, totally pumped that everyone's alive, but yeah, she still wants the rest of her payday. Elsewhere, a group of soldiers run into Shisharu, and one of them is seriously glad she made it. He even throws her a compliment, which actually stops her crying. The next day, Hiro hands Tomite his dragon crest as a parting gift. When Tomite starts talking about heading back to Linsekai's, Palupa jumps in and points out they are flat broke for the trip. Meanwhile, Hiro is just hyped to finally get some sword training time with Giru. The end.